It seems that there are people who are just hell-bent on creating division.
Missouri is a conservative state, and our representatives to Washington, D.C. should reflect Missouri voters' values.
We do not bend to the will of a dictator.
We're protecting our democracy by keeping it away from the Democrats.
I think in my own conscience that I felt like I needed to vote no.
House Bill 1 is declared third read and passed.
The fight didn't end today.
Silence is not an option right now.
Eyes from across the nation will be on the state of Missouri today. The state Senate now has a bill that would split up Kansas City's congressional district, paving the way for more Republicans to represent Missouri in Washington, D.C. The House approved the measure in a 90-65 vote. KCTV5's Nathan Brennan has been reporting on the redistricting plan for some time now. He joins us now from Midtown. And Nathan, I know you just spoke to some bus riders that are now making their way to Jeff City. What were they able to tell you this morning?
Well, Janae, we've heard from so many of these politicians over the last couple days, but we were able to get more perspective from real people, from some of those voters. So we heard from several of them saying that it's unconstitutional to make this redistricting change. We've heard from a lot of people that say they want to make sure their voices are heard. So that's why they actually met here probably about an hour or two ago, right in front of St. Mark's Lutheran Church. So we're at the intersection of Mannheim and Troost. We saw about 4 of those large charter buses. They're actually going to make their way over to Jefferson City and get there by this afternoon. Again, all in an effort to make sure that their voices are heard and make sure that lawmakers in Jefferson City know how they feel about potential redistricting. And we spoke to a couple of those voters. Go ahead and take a listen.
Redistricting is not the way to go. It's illegal, it's unconstitutional, it's undemocratic. So we're going to show up with a lot of other people.
We the people are saying no. This is not what we want. This is not what your voters and constituents want. And you're going against our will, and we're not having it.
So as we see all of this moving forward, Nathan, what can we expect for today?
Well, Taylor, what you can expect from today is to hear some more of those debates in Jefferson City. So we've been bringing you a lot of that coverage from politicians, Republicans, Democrats arguing back and forth. That was the House of Representatives, and as Janae already mentioned, they voted yesterday to move forward with this process of redistricting, 90-65, that final vote. Now it's up to the Senate to debate and then vote on this potential for redistricting. There's something that I want to point out, though, about the House of Representatives, because when we talk about 90-65 being a final vote, you hear that and you say, okay, that was probably a landslide. Well, that might be the case. There were actually 13 Republicans that voted with Democrats saying that they are opposed to redistricting the congressional maps in the state of Missouri. So that's something that we're going to be watching closely. But today we can expect more debates, more of those strong words that we've been hearing from both Republicans and Democrats in Jefferson City. This time around, though, it's not the House of Representatives, it's Missouri's Senate.
Alrighty, Nathan Brennan reporting in Midtown for us. And as you said, our coverage will continue. We will leave you to it. We'll see you at noon during our newscast. As for our viewers, we do have a press conference that is currently underway. You're taking a live look from Jeff City. This is coming in from the Capitol Rotunda on the first floor. Let's take a live listen in.
So on that note, I would like to hand it over to my dear friend and colleague, Senator Doug Beck, who's about to lead this item.
Thank you. I want to thank Leader Ani and the House Democrats for putting up the fight to this point. We all owe them a debt of gratitude, and against odds that are here as being in a super minority, they stood up and they fought, and they're fighting for the people. They're fighting for the right reasons here. So I want to thank them for what they've done to this point. Before I forget, I want to thank our colleagues from Ohio here. The fight's going to be going to them next in this battle to rig these maps, and this battle to rig these elections. It's going to be going to Ohio next, and we're going to do what we can to support those folks there and our colleagues across the country. Because this fight, even though it doesn't look like it's nationalized, it's been nationalized. And I am Senator Doug Beck. I am proud to be the Democratic leader in the Missouri Senate. We have an amazing caucus of tough fighters over there. We have an amazing caucus of people that stand up for working families and working people every day of the week over there, whether at home, whether they're in this building. So I want to thank them as we go forward in this fight. Here's what I want to say, and I'm going to keep it short and sweet. The governor has called a special session because Republicans are scared. Republicans are scared because voters know Republicans' tariffs have raised the prices on everything. Republicans are scared because the signature piece of legislation will close rural hospitals and makes the largest cut to the health care funding in American history. Republicans are scared because when they let Elon Musk run wild with Doge, he did not cut waste, fraud, and abuse. He cut cancer research for kids. He cut Social Security services for seniors. He cut life-saving assistance for people struggling with mental health. This special session is only existing because Republicans are scared. But the thing that frightens them the most, the thing that keeps them up at night, the thing that sends cold sweat down their back as they rub elbows at their elite country clubs, is that if Democrats retake the House, they will release the Epstein files. Republicans are scared because voters know the files are real. The birthday book is real. The cover-up is real. Republicans are scared, and they should be. Because Senate Democrats are going to fight like hell to make sure everyone knows that Republicans want to water down your vote, rig our maps, block you with the ballot box. And most of all, Republicans want to cover up for pedophiles. Thank you.
I say this as a proud Ohio Democrat. It is a good day to be in Missouri. My name is Dunny Isaacson. I serve as the minority leader in the Ohio House, and I'm here today standing with you all and standing with the Missouri Democrats because your fight for our democracy is our fight, and our fight is your fight. This is not just happening in Missouri, it is happening all over the country. And there are people in Ohio, there are people in Missouri who are losing their health care, whose hospitals are closing. There are kids who will skip lunch and go hungry in math class in the afternoon because of gerrymandered maps. When the president instructs Republicans in legislatures all over the country to be his pawns, he is asking them to steal Congress from the people. And when you steal Congress from the people, real people suffer. We are in the fight for fair maps because this is the fight of our lives. People all over the country are asking, what are Democrats doing to fight back? The answer is in states like Texas and Missouri and Ohio, where we are fighting against this power grab, we are fighting against doing Trump's bidding, and we will take this fight beyond the legislative fight over the maps. This fight is going to next November. And that is a fight, my friends, that when we are in it together, which you can see we so clearly are, we are going to win. So I want to thank the Missouri Democrats for being such strong leaders in this fight, for showing the rest of us the way. I want to tell you that we stand with you. We are proud to stand with you. We have multiple members of our leadership team here because ultimately this is not about Missouri and it's not about Ohio. This is about the United States of America. So thank you for having us. We're proud to be here, and we will see you next November.
And we will come back to our coverage from Jefferson City. I do want to touch on something. So who we just heard from there, I'm going to get rid of this live bug just to give you a little bit more information. But we just heard from the Ohio House Democratic Minority Leader, and he actually made his way to the state of Missouri to support Missouri Democrats because his state is next for a special session as far as redistricting is concerned. So again, we will check back in with Jefferson City. And Taylor, I know we have some team coverage there as well.
Yes, we do. So our Grace Smith is actually at the state capitol today. She's going to be bringing us updates as well as our Missouri Capitol reporter, Hannah Falcon. And we'll be sure, again, to give you all the updates on air and online as this process plays out inside and outside of the chambers.
Alrighty, well, I think that'll do it for our coverage from Jefferson City. We are going to check back in with KCTV5's Grace Smith at around 11 a.m., so be sure to join us then. But for now, we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, meteorologist Warren Sears will give you a better look at what you can expect as you prepare to head out the door on this Wednesday.
Hi, everybody. I'm First Horn 5 meteorologist Warren Sears. Happy Wednesday. Hope you're having a great day so far. You can tell it's a little bit warmer out there. It was still a pretty pleasant start to the day, but after some of the cool, crisp mornings we've had here recently, it's definitely warmer. A lot of us started the day in the 60s out there, and I'm expecting to at least get into the 80s today, which again is different from what we've seen. We have been so cool here recently, and that is about to quickly change. We have a summer stint that works back in here over the next few days, and then this upcoming weekend, it's looking pretty hot. So I would say, if you can, as you start to look at your plans, maybe avoid the heart of the afternoon on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, just because it's going to be pretty warm. Let's walk you through here what you need to know, the forecast over the next few days and into the upcoming weekend. So on Wednesday, today, it is slightly warmer. There is an opportunity for a few showers to the southwest of Kansas City. I'm actually looking out right now. We have some cloud coverage in place. It's pretty high up in the atmosphere right now, so the sun is actually able to shine through a little bit. But I do think there'll be some thickening up of the clouds at times into the afternoon. And there's an opportunity to the southwest of Kansas City for a couple of showers. So I'll show you that here in just a second. Then the big story here late week is we're back to a summer feel. As I mentioned, 90s are on the table. We haven't seen 90 degrees in a while, especially not at all in September, and now we're on the 10th and even late August. Now, Sunday is our new first warn. That is our next kind of heads up to the forecast, as we are watching some new rain chances that are working back in. Of course, lots of eyes on Sunday because it is the Chiefs' home opener. So we'll be watching that one really closely, but there is a first warn for now for Sunday that we added yesterday evening and carried through this morning. So it's a dry most part of the day. This is just from my latest computer guidance that's coming through. There could be shifts to this. It is only Wednesday. As we get closer to Sunday, we'll be able to time out things a little bit better. The timing confidence is pretty low right now. I do know it does look like there will be a system in the region. Is it a little bit more west, like it's painting now? Does it pull a little bit more east in the day on Sunday? Those are some things we'll iron out as we get closer. But there will be some spotty rain around the area. At this point, don't see a huge worry for severe thunderstorms, but that is also something that we'll monitor as we get a little bit closer. This is what radar could look like throughout the morning on Sunday. And this computer model that I'm showing you right now is definitely a little bit more on the aggressive side with rain. Some of the other ones are a bit drier. So I think at this point during the day Sunday, looking pretty dry. It is going to be a hot day though. Later in the afternoon, early evening, we are seeing signs that we could have a couple of spotty showers, maybe 5, 6 o'clock, and the Chiefs kick off at 3:25. So there could be some stuff around later in the game, but that doesn't look as likely as the later day stuff that's going to come through. This looks to be a little bit of a better chance as we get into late Sunday, early Monday. Again, that is this specific model's depiction of what goes on. It is just now Wednesday. There is a scenario here where the day is completely dry, and that could definitely happen. We've seen that happen where as we get closer, the computers aren't as confident anymore with rain or whatnot. So hopefully that turns out to be the case, but for now, that's our next heads up in the forecast. 73 is your current temperature right now. It's a really nice morning and midday. South wind right now, pretty light, around 6 miles per hour. You can see here the kind of milkiness and the white on radar that's coming in from the west. That's cloud coverage. Right now, a lot of this is thin. It's a much thinner cloud deck out ahead of this system coming in from the west. You see the brighter whites, that would be some thicker cloud coverage, and it would also be a little bit taller. So that indicates usually some sort of rain or thunderstorm activity. So there is a small little system here that's coming through Kansas, and the later we've gone in the morning, it tries to pull it a little bit closer to us now than earlier this morning when I was originally forecasting. And so it's still well out in central Kansas, up 135 to Salina from Wichita. That seems to be where most of the rain is right now. But the computer model here that I'm showing you, this high resolution computer model, it wants to try to bring the outskirts of that system and a couple of showers into maybe Franklin, Anderson, Lynn counties, potentially up to Johnson County. You can see here, this is favoring mainly southwest of Kansas City, and this all looks to be pretty light, but I don't want you to be completely caught off guard if this late afternoon and early evening you live southwest of KC and you've got a couple of showers or some sprinkles out there. Now, when you look at our model output here for how much rain could fall, it's not much. A couple hundredths to maybe a tenth of an inch of rain. So we'll watch that today. I just threw 20% chances just as a small little opportunity there late afternoon, early evening to pick up a couple of raindrops. And again, those of you that live more southwest, Ottawa, closer to Garnett, and Lynn County, you'll have a little bit of a better chance than the rest of us. But temperature-wise, we were in the 60s and now eventually working into the 70s and lower to mid 80s out there this afternoon. Now, my forecast is 84 today. I did shave a few degrees off of our forecast of what we had last night, and that was to account for some of the extra cloud coverage that could be moving in. If we keep this thin cloud coverage where the sun's still shining through, we should have no issue getting to at least 84. But if for some reason the thicker cloud coverage comes in and we shut our heating off, we might be even cooler than this, which will be really nice. So enjoy your day today because it does get a lot hotter later on this week. Now, if you remember back, the coolest morning that we had so far this month was just this past Saturday. It was 45 degrees. The trend now is we had 60s this morning. The trend is to keep morning low temperatures in the 60s and upper 60s Thursday and Friday mornings. But look at Saturday, 71. So generally a testament of warmer mornings is obviously hotter afternoons. And I think that's what we're going to see. Just a much warmer air mass in place. So look at your high temps for the next 3 days, 89, 93, and 93. So we haven't had 90-degree days in a while. We had quite a few in June, July, and August. None in September. So we will likely have at least 2 Friday and Saturday, but I'm starting to see signs that Sunday will probably be near 90 as well, and then potentially even Monday and Tuesday next week. So we are going to stay toasty. You will need your air conditioning. You will definitely want the shorts and the short sleeves. No more jackets for the mornings. I mean, these are warm days all around with not even a whole lot of relief into the overnights. So Saturday, Sunday mornings specifically, I think our lows will only be in the 70s. We have been well below our normal for this time of the year. We're now likely going to surge well above that normal. It seems like we can never play the game where we just have our normal temperature. So, excuse me. So we are expecting above normal conditions, not only for the next 7 days, but I am seeing signs that the extended temperature outlook through the end of summer, which fall officially begins on the 22nd, through the end of summer, through the next about 2 weeks, is favoring warmer than normal conditions across a lot of the country. So this is a pretty toasty stretch. I am expecting to keep these warm conditions around for quite some time. So if you've been loving the fall feel, it was brief, short-lived. We will get it again soon, but at least the next 2 weeks, they're looking pretty warm. Generally a fairly dry stretch as well. We obviously have that one rain opportunity on your Sunday, which is around the Chiefs game. Obviously lots of eyes on the Chiefs forecast, so let's talk about that here. Even if we don't have spotty showers in the evening, it is going to be a hot day. So tailgating and kickoff temperatures, definitely warm. Lower 90s expected on Sunday. So this is going to be one of the warmer games, obviously, of the season. So if you're planning on what to wear for Sunday, I would have your short sleeves, your red short sleeves and tank tops ready to go, because our kickoff and halftime temperatures will still be right around 90 degrees. And even as we roll into the fourth quarter and, 6 o'clock hour or wherever it may be, I think we'll still be in the upper 80s. Now, we are watching that rain chance, as I mentioned. Please don't cancel Sunday plans, but just watching that opportunity there on Sunday. So here's a look at your Security Bank 7-day forecast. A lot of 90s here that are filling the stretch of the next 7 days. I got a tickle in my throat, excuse me. And we're going 84 up to 93. Pretty big split in those temperatures there. and a big warm up here on the way. 93 Friday, 93 Saturday, 91 Sunday with that first warn. That is our only first warn on the forecast. 90 on Monday, maybe back to the 80s on Tuesday, but every nighttime temperature that you have is going to be in the 60s or low 70s. So mild mornings, warm, comfortable mornings, but still warm and hot afternoons. The good news here, I will say, our humidity does not look to be very high. So that means that your 89 on Thursday will only feel maybe a degree or two warmer. Same thing on Friday and Saturday. Your high temps in the 90s will only feel like the mid 90s. So at least we're not talking extreme humidity. At least we're not talking feels like temperatures over the 100 degree point. So that is, again, one of the bigger positives if you can take away from the hotter temps. It's not overly humid, not overly muggy. There'll be hot afternoons, don't get me wrong, but it definitely can always be, much more humid, and those feels like temperatures could be a lot higher. So we'll take that as a win here as you roll into this weekend. And we are talking 90s, and this is we're getting into our normal high this time of the year is 81. So we're getting into the territory where we're usually not seeing too many more 90-degree days, but we have quite a few here over the next week. So far this year, I crunched some numbers just to find out what have we seen so far. And in June, we have seen 8 90-degree days. July, 16 90-degree days. July was really hot this year. August, 8 90-degree days. And so far in September, we have not seen any. That means we've had 32 90-degree days so far this year. That actually does run us a little bit below normal, but this is a yearly normal. So not year to date. This is a total year normal. We usually see about 41 90-degree days. And that is, that doesn't account for any of the next few days that we're going to have. So probably at least 90 degrees over the next few days, specifically Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So we'll add to this total. So we might come in to the end of the summer season close to normal for what we usually see for those 90-degree days. So this is another really cool graphic because it, when do we usually stop seeing 80s and 90s? When do we usually start actually turning the corner for fall? Well, our last average 80-degree day is October 18th. The earliest it's ever happened was September 19th, and the earliest last 80-degree day was, last 80-degree day was November 14th. Back in 1964. Let's talk about 90s. Our average last 90-degree day is September 16th. So that is right around the corner. And we will definitely see many more between the 10th and the 16th. The earliest it ever happened, the earliest last 90-degree day for a season was July 14th back in 1915. The latest it ever happened was actually just before Halloween in 1950. So we can still get 90-degree days. I think we even had 3 last October. So it is still a possibility. It is still something that we will be watching out for later this September and into early October. For the most part, I think at least the next week we'll have some 90s. Maybe we won't see them again after that, but I still think we'll at least have 80s and some pretty toasty temperatures there. One more thing that I'm working on today for the weather show, and I hope that you'll join us at 6:30 this evening. Persimmons, the fruit, can actually help predict the weather. Now, this is old weather folklore, of course, but the overall thought behind this here is, and I'll share just a little bit, I won't share our findings just yet, but I had a viewer send a picture in, and what you look for in the persimmon is the seeds. You split the seeds open, and they can actually, I don't know how well they actually do, but they can, tall tales help tell what the winter is going to be like. So persimmons are native to the area, and if you have any, they look like this, and go split them open and split the seed open, because you'll have to look for a shape inside the seed. And then join us at 6:30 today, because I'll have details on what that means when you see specific different shapes inside the persimmon seed. That can help tell you what the winter is going to bring. Is it going to be snowy? Is it going to be extra cold, mild? This is just another fun thing that we have. in the old Farmer's Almanac and the old weather folklore that is just something fun to look forward to. Probably isn't even remotely close, but you never know. Something fun to talk about. So that is coming up later today on the First Warn 5 Weather Show. Aside from that, that is your forecast, midday forecast. Hope you have a great rest of your day. I'm doing the noon show today, so I'll see you at noon with Bill and Carolina. That's here in about an hour and a half.
Welcome back into the live desk. We do want to bring you your news headlines now. I do want to start off with an interesting story, Taylor, that's been kind of going all over social media. It's also posted on our website, KCTV5.com. Police in Los Angeles say that they found a body inside of an impounded Tesla at a tow yard in Hollywood. Now, there is a Kansas City connection that we're going to touch on after we play this package to give you just a little bit more information.
The LAPD took possession of this Tesla after human remains were found inside the car at Hollywood Tow. But this deadly discovery may be connected to the 1400 block of Bluebird Avenue in the Hollywood Hills.
Just smelled like sewage. We all thought it was sewage.
A neighbor who asked us not to share her identity says the dark-colored Tesla with Texas plates was abandoned on the street all summer long.
I think the community knew something was wrong and reported the car being abandoned.
The car was towed to this yard where the LAPD was called to investigate on Monday because of a strong smell as well. Detectives served a search warrant and found human remains. From SkyCal, we could see the front trunk was open, but investigators aren't saying where they found the remains. Jessica Colella lives nearby.
Knowing that it happened like right here next to me is really scary, and also again just like heartbreaking for whoever the victim is.
Several people who work near the tow yard told us they picked up a strong smell in recent days, but Bridget Foster and her co-worker were not aware of anything odd.
Just shock about how something like that can happen so close by.
Both TMZ and the LA Times report the Tesla belongs to recording artist David, whose legal name is David Anthony Burke. Both outlets report he's alive and well and scheduled to perform in Minneapolis Tuesday night. His schedule also includes a concert in Los Angeles on September 20th. Both at the tow yard and the Hollywood Hills, neighbors say the deadly discovery is a reminder to be present for your community.
You live in a city where sometimes people do need help and need to be looked out for, and so I think kind of coming together and kind of noticing things more, not really being so quick to turn ahead.
If something looks strange, definitely say something and don't wait.
A shocking story indeed here, and this is one that we are following because, as you mentioned, Janae, there is a Kansas City connection to this.
Yeah, so the vehicle, as you just heard there in that story, is reportedly registered to singer David, whose real name is David Burke. And we do know that they touched on Los Angeles as well as Minneapolis, that he's set to perform, but he is also set to perform in Kansas City at Truman KC tonight at 8 p.m., doors opening at 7. Now, our news desk here at KCTV5, they did reach out to Truman KC to see if David is still set to perform or if they've heard anything from David. So as soon as we get new information, we'll be sure to let you all know. So be sure to have the KCTV5 News app. Again, this story is currently posted on our website, KCTV5.com.
All right, so let's move on to our next round of headlines. Kansas City leaders, they say they're getting closer to a temporary solution of overcrowding jails. And this comes after police said they couldn't make an arrest this week because they were at capacity. KCTV5's Ali Espinoza explains the possible fix to the space issue and the timeline that leaders want to make it happen.
The ongoing task to build a temporary city jail may be one stop closer to breaking ground. Councilman Nathan Willett says the city council has a proposal they'll bring up at a meeting next week where they've decided on the location of the temporary facility.
We knew back in 2019 when the first study was done to determine the site and the size we needed a jail then.
If approved, the new plan calls to build the temporary jail on Front Street. It's expected to be done by April of 2026.
And not having our own facility that we can control puts us at the mercy of saying, Vernon County, Johnson County, are you going to accept some of our people who have assaulted individuals? And they can say no.
Kansas City police told KCTV5 last weekend they responded to a call where they found a suspect with multiple warrants. But police said they couldn't take him into custody because other facilities they use were full. Police added Tuesday that operational limitations to the jail have created this issue before. If the city's plan is approved, it would create 100 more bed spaces along with the number they have contracted out.
It's what local government's supposed to do. We're supposed to protect our citizens. There has to be spaces for people who violate our laws or ordinances.
Ali Espinosa, KCTV 5 News.
And moving on to more news headlines here at KCTV5. We are now learning more about the deadly plane crash in Mosby, Missouri just last month. Preliminary report from the NTSB reveals that the plane was flying lower than normal before crashing into a field. The crash killed the pilot and passenger on board. Eyewitnesses say that it was flying low and slow when its wing dipped, causing it to roll then smash into the ground. The NTSB is continuing its investigation today.
Black mold, mice, and roaches. That's what people at 3 local apartment complexes say they're living with, and they're tired of it. KC Tenants Union has mobilized with tenants in several states to fight back against New York-based Capital Realty Group. They own Parcelletti Manor, Sage Crossing, and Parker Square complexes, and that last one that we just named is where we find our Gabby Luma this morning with the latest.
I'm KCTV5's Gabby Luma here at the Parker Square apartment complex, one of 3 complexes in the Kansas City area that have joined KC Tenants Union. Now they're joining forces with Kentucky, Michigan, and Connecticut tenants as well, fighting for their basic human rights. Now residents here tell us they've been dealing for years with black mold rodents, including mice and roaches. Now they are just asking for basic human rights. Their landlord is a shared landlord out of New York. That is Capital Realty Group. Now they are set to begin bargaining with them tomorrow. This fight is not only for the residents of current times, but also for the future as well.
We'll continue to follow up on that story. Moving along to an urgent safety alert this morning as a bug carrying a deadly disease is now confirmed to be in the state of Missouri. We're talking about the Chagas disease. It is caused by parasites found in kissing bugs, which can pass the disease on to other animals as well as humans. Symptoms to look out for include swollen eyelids, fever, fatigue, body aches, as well as rashes. Health officials say that the best way to protect yourself is by using bug spray and covering your skin when you're in areas where cases have been reported, and that includes Missouri. You can also get the disease through eating raw fruits as well as vegetables, so make sure you wash them thoroughly before you actually eat them. And there are no vaccines or drugs that can prevent the disease at this time, so doctors are really urging you to just protect yourself.
All right, well, we have told you about the broad community support and efforts to bring back the Inglewood Theater and Ben Franklin 5 and Dime stores in Independence. But bringing back the historic area is going to come at a cost. KCTV5's Chandler Watkins explains why.
Those invested in seeing the Inglewood Theater and Ben Franklin 5 and Dime reopen gathered inside the Inglewood Arts Center to hear updates on the progress, from a feasibility study to nearly 500 community input comments. The feasibility study states the theater could work well as a single-screen movie theater or a community performing arts venue. The price tag to fix it up? Almost $3.5 million. Andy Struckoff with PGAV Planners, the company that did the study, says the Ben Franklin building could be used as a commercial space, but it's in worse shape. The estimated cost to fix sits at over $8 million.
The interior spaces, the floors, the roof all need to be at least replaced. And so it's for that amount of retail space, it's easier to build a brand new building than to address the restoration of that structure.
Friends of Inglewood President Brent Schondelmeyer says their main focuses right now are purchasing the theater. They've raised $165,000 so far and continuing to drum up support for the cause. Reporting in Independence, Chandler Watkins, KCTV5 News.
Okay, and we have another feel-good story for you. Many Kansas City kids are now all smiles thanks to the Chiefs and a team of dentists. Arrowhead Stadium hosted them for free dental care, and that's not all. Some of the athletics, cheerleaders, and even mascots stopped by to help make it a fun experience. And from a dentist perspective, it was educational as well.
The effects of oral health and overall health are interconnected. And we're giving them education about nutrition, how to take care of their teeth. They're not born with an owner's manual, so we're trying to provide that for them here.
The program was co-founded by the former Chiefs punter, Dustin Colquitt, I hope I'm saying that correctly, and has helped more than 60,000 kids since 2007. I love that.
Yeah, I know going to the dentist, especially when you're little, can be so scary. So this was a really great way to do it.
Right.
Yeah, maybe it'll make them excited to keep going to the dentist now. All right, so for our sports fans, people from all over the world will be in Kansas City for the World Cup in just 9 months. Isn't that crazy?
It's hard to believe.
Tickets, I know. So tickets, they're expected to go fast, and today is your chance to get ahead of the game. So the entry period for Visa card holders, the pre-sale drawing just opened this morning at 10 a.m., so about 45 minutes ago. So if you're interested, you need to register online, and then if you're selected, then FIFA will notify you by email and give a time slot to purchase those tickets. Again, you have to be a Visa card holder for that right now. We do have more information on how to get those tickets. That's on our website, KCTV5.com.
And I think our morning EP, you know, when he was supposed to be working, he actually went.
Oh, did he do this?
I'm calling him out. He can't even hear me, and he's standing right behind me, so I have to call him out. But no, a very, very cool opportunity. Another cool opportunity that you can catch right here in the Metro in just a few days, in 8 days to be exact. The KCTV5 tower will relight the Kansas City skyline. It's been dark for 2 decades, but we partnered with the city to bring it back, and you may have spotted the KCTV5 tower lit up last night. Our crews are testing the 96 new LED lights before it's set to officially shine again, just in 8 days, just in time for the 2026 World Cup. The official lighting ceremony is set for September 18th.
All right. I was wondering what it would look like. That's
Yeah.
cool.
I kept hearing about this, but this is my first time actually seeing the video of it relit. So excited. And this is not too far away from where I
I was going to
live,
say, you should
so
probably be able to see it
I know.
every day.
I might have to go and check it out. Stay up. All righty. We are going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we'll have your national headlines.
All right, let's turn to our national news headlines for this morning. Former Vice President Kamala Harris is set to release a memoir, and the first excerpt has been published by The Atlantic. 107 Days is about Harris's abbreviated run during the 2024 presidential campaign. Harris assesses whether then President Joe Biden should have been allowed to decide on his own whether he should run for re-election. Harris calls it recklessness and says it should have been more than a personal decision. She says, quote, "The stakes were simply too high." 107 Days is set to be released in 2 weeks. I feel like that's kind of fast to write a book. Oh, maybe she's working on it.
Yeah, I think she's been working on it for some time, so we'll just have to wait and see what she says. And as early as today, President Donald Trump says that he could announce enhanced federal involvement in yet another city. This time it might be in a red state. Trump says that the city's local leaders and governor are receptive to the idea, but he hasn't revealed the exact location just yet. That potential news comes at a turning point for his district his District of Columbia takeover. Amy Kiley reports on what's happening today in the nation's capital.
Up with liberation, down, down with occupation.
The emergency declaration behind the federal takeover of Washington, D.C. expires today, according to the mayor's office. President Donald Trump can't control its police force more than 30 days without Congress. Analysts expect he will continue his D.C. National Guard deployment and federal law enforcement surge.
This was one of the most unsafe cities in the country. Now it's as safe as there is in the country.
Some D.C. residents say they don't want Trump to be so involved in their city.
Today, students across D.C.'s college campuses have walked out to demand non-cooperation from their administrations in the face of Trump's military occupation.
Police say homicides, car thefts, robberies, and violent crime are down in D.C. since the takeover. So is restaurant traffic. Open Table says seated diners for online reservations dropped 2% between July and August, and 5% compared to June. The nonprofit Destination D.C. also reports a decline in tourism.
Took the metro here, didn't see any National Guard, didn't see any issues.
Now, Republican lawmakers are introducing bills to expand federal control of D.C.'s justice system. And Trump says other cities are in his sights.
The president would love to do this in every Democrat-run city across the country.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
A repeat criminal offender is now facing a federal charge in the horrific fatal stabbing of a Ukrainian refugee on a Charlotte, North Carolina train last month. The Ukrainian woman's death is still sparking outrage in that city and all the way to the White House. Sherelle Hubbard has the latest on what's being done.
Surveillance video shows the attack, which happened last month. 23-year-old Irina Zarutska boards the Blue Line train in Charlotte, North Carolina, and simply takes her seat. The man who is sitting behind her, identified as DeCarlos Brown Jr., attacks her unprovoked. Brown was charged federally with one count of committing an act causing death on a mass transportation system.
We built a city that people want to live in, but we can lose that all if we allow violent crime like this to go on in our streets. And I'm here to tell you, the federal government is going to save our city from that.
The slaying fueling a White House law and order crusade targeting Democratic-led cities.
She was slaughtered by a deranged monster who was roaming free after 14 prior arrests. We cannot allow a depraved criminal element of violent repeat offenders to continue spreading destruction and death throughout our country.
Family members told CNN Brown was living in a homeless shelter. They said he'd been diagnosed with schizophrenia. Charlotte transit officials say they are unsure that increased policing could stop an act like this from happening.
He wasn't interfacing in a manner that would have triggered attention to him that he was about to do a heinous act.
The suspect is in custody and charged in North Carolina with first-degree murder.
She fled amid the deadliest land war in Europe since World War II. She fled to the safety, or so she thought, of the United States.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
Moving on to more national news. Now, the fired head of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention will testify on Capitol Hill. The Senate's Health Committee announced on Tuesday that it will hear from Dr. Susan Monterez, Health and Human Services Secretary. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. fired her just last month after Kennedy claimed that she told him she was an untrustworthy person. Monterez has criticized Kennedy for positions he has taken on vaccines, and she claims that she was removed from her job because she would not sign off on new vaccine policies recommended by a panel handpicked by Kennedy.
Well, here is some positive news. The death rate in the U.S. last year dropped back to pre-pandemic levels. According to a new Centers for Disease Control and Prevention report, there were nearly 3.1 million deaths overall in 2024, and heart disease and cancer accounted for more than 40% of them. Drug overdoses and other unintentional injuries were the third leading cause of death. There were still tens of thousands of COVID-19 deaths, but the CDC says it fell out of the top 10 leading causes of death for the first time since the pandemic started.
Okay, turning now to a story that we're all talking about. Tuesday, Apple unveiled its next generation of phones and wearable tech. The new iPhone Air is the thinnest model ever made and brings more computing power for AI capabilities. It is made from 80% recycled titanium and will come in 4 different colors. The new iPhone 17 features an enhanced camera, and it will come in 5 colors and have an all-day battery life. We love that. Apple also announced new upgrades to its AirPods and watches. The new products will be in stores September 19th. Now, what I did find pretty unique, Taylor, and I was trying to find the actual video that we could use here on streaming, but it's the translating. Did you see that with the AirPods?
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty cool. So it's like if you go into a place or you're in a different country and you have your AirPods in and they're maybe speaking Spanish or something else, it'll translate it for you and turn them down just a bit. So I thought that was pretty unique. But what are your thoughts?
I wish it could also then tell you what to say back.
It does.
You know?
It
Oh,
does.
it does?
Yeah,
Oh.
in the video,
Okay.
it's like connected to your phone, and so you can turn your phone around and it'll tell them what you're trying to say.
Nice.
So
I
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts about everything else?
So I just upgraded my phone.
Same. They always do this. Every single time I upgrade my phone is when they bring out a new phone.
My God.
But
But
go
I
ahead.
had a 10 though. So
Oh yeah, you were way behind.
and I was
Okay.
forced to upgrade it because I dropped it and it was done for. So
Okay.
I don't see myself getting a new iPhone anytime soon. Those AirPods though, I might have to go for.
Yeah.
And that iPhone Air kind of makes me a little nervous. I feel like you
It's-
need to have a really good case for that.
Oh, and I am clumsy. I am
Yeah.
so clumsy, so I know I'm gonna drop it. I don't know if you saw my screen just a few weeks ago before I took the protector off,
Well,
but
mine is
it was shattered.
I have a protector, thank God, but mine
Yeah.
has a little struggle going on right over
Yeah.
here right now.
And you know what? Carolina and I, we were talking about this yesterday, and she's like, I don't need a thin phone. I don't need anything else. I just need more storage. So I think they did prioritize that with these phones. But we are going to circle back on this because I do want to touch on the prices and tariffs and how that is really impacting the new Apple launch. So again, the new products will be in stores on September 19th. So that's just 9 days away. That big announcement getting a lot of attention, especially on social media. Alrighty, when we come back, we are going to take a quick break. But when we come back, we are going to check in with KCTV5's Grace Smith, who is in Jefferson City, continuing our coverage on the redistricting plan. She will have the latest as far as what we can expect later on today. We'll be right back after the break.
Continuing our coverage today, the nation is watching to see if Missouri will follow Texas and California in changing voting maps. Usually, congressional maps are redrawn during a census count and no mid-cycle, but pressure from Washington, D.C. is forcing state Republicans to act now. So the final vote in the Missouri House yesterday, ultimately 90-65, is in favor of redistricting. And even though it might sound like a landslide, it's important to mention 13 Republicans voted with Democrats against redistricting, a development that we will be following closely. And speaking of following this closely, we do have team coverage today. Our Grace Smith is live in Jefferson City. And I know, Grace, not too long ago, we heard from some folks during a press conference, even some who've come here from out of town, specifically Ohio.
Yeah, Taylor, Democrats are calling this a day of action, and that got started early this morning at 9:30, where a lot of people met on the first floor of the rotunda, packed in there, in a banner that said "Fair Maps" kind of hung around the rotunda area, and people were chanting, really in just solidarity with each other. And I want to show you, people are starting to go onto the steps here at the Capitol, and I did speak with a few protesters earlier, and they just say they're angry and they're coming together, and they understand maybe some people have to work today, but they are representing those people and that they're out here. You can see signs like "Every vote counts," and that's kind of just really the message here, that these Democrats and voters really are just wanting to come into solidarity with each other. They say that today starts a new fight. They said this has already been a long fight, but today starts a new one, as we know that the Senate will now take on this bill. I'm told that they will start talking about this after their veto session, which is around noon. We're not sure how long that could take, but we did hear from the Senate Minority Leader earlier, who said that they're prepared to take this all the way and to fight it as long as they can, guys.
And Grace, I know you also spoke to a minority leader, I should say, that's from Ohio, that came to support the Democrats here in the state of Missouri. What was he able to tell you? Because I know they're also looking ahead to some redistricting plans there as well.
Yeah, exactly. And so really they came out today just to, they said that they were inspired by what they're seeing here with the amount of people coming out showing support. So they came out here saying the same thing, that they're going to fight this as well, and that they were really encouraged by what they're seeing just this morning.
Alrighty, all eyes on that area as well. But Grace, we are definitely going to keep a close eye on Jefferson City today, especially as those protesters continue to gather. I know we have more that are going to be heading that way. KCTV5's Nathan Brennan just spoke to them. So Grace, we'll let you get to your coverage and we'll check back in a little bit later, but thank you so much. Alrighty, we are going to continue on with our news headlines. And we also want to direct you to our website, KCTV5.com, where our coverage as far as the Missouri redistricting plan continues. Grace said that we should be getting some more details later on today, if not in the coming days. So I do want to direct you to our website, KCTV5.com. I also want to encourage you to download the KCTV5 News app. As soon as we have new developments, we'll be sure to push that to your smart device. Alrighty, Taylor, let's move on with the rest of our news headlines today.
All right, so next up, I guess we have here Heidi Gardner. Is that what we want to do next?
All righty, let's go ahead and do it.
All right, so we're just 4 days away from a Super Bowl rematch in Kansas City. The Chiefs set to square off against the Philadelphia Eagles this Sunday for their home opener. And to help get fans pumped up, comedian and Kansas City native Heidi Gardner will be in town. She'll be in Leawood at Dick's Sporting Goods handing out T-shirts ahead of kickoff. And they are first come, first serve, so you want to plan to get out there early.
Alrighty, and moving along, keeping on with the Chiefs. Meanwhile, the Honey Badger is headed back to the Kingdom for a special honor on game day. Tyrann Mathieu will serve as drum honoree, I should say, for the game. The former safety was with the team for 3 seasons from 2019 up until 2021.
All right, so one one couple here, this is an interesting story. They are set to get an unforgettable Arrowhead Stadium experience this week. Shania and Kyle Kalimsky, they met during the pandemic on Facebook, and then they got engaged at the Taylor Swift Eras Tour in a moment that went viral. And fast forward to last month when Travis popped the question, StubHub wanted to make sure that the newly married couple could celebrate along with Taylor and Travis by surprising them with VIP tickets to the game this weekend.
She had brought it up a few times early in our relationship, and I had always told her that I would never propose at a Taylor Swift concert. And then it was like a week before the show, and we were sitting on the porch, and I decided that I guess I would propose at the Taylor Swift concert. So then it was a mad dash for that week to get everything together and make it happen.
Well, this is a good example of never say never, right? Well, ahead of the game, they are going to stop by Prime Social, a place that I love, just like Taylor and Travis.
So we know, obviously, as far as our huge news headlines this week, it's going to be the Missouri redistricting. But another major headline is going to be that matchup against the Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles, that Super Bowl rematch once again taking place at Arrowhead. And so KCTV5 sports reporter Mark Paulos has more of your sports this morning.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Mark Paulos with a look at today's top sports headlines. We're going to start on the gridiron, where the Philadelphia Eagles will have star defensive tackle Jalen Carter on Sunday in the Super Bowl rematch against the Chiefs. Carter was suspended for one game after spitting on Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott in the NFL season opener. However, the NFL says Carter served that suspension last week since he didn't play a snap against the Cowboys. We're going to hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes today around noon. We'll bring that to you on streaming. To baseball, Royals taking on the Guardians, trying to stay in the playoff race. Bottom one, no score. Cleveland's Jose Ramirez takes Noah Cameron Yard. The Guardians would add another run as the Royals lose to the Guardians 2-0 and now trail 3 teams for the final wildcard spot in the American League with 17 games left in the regular season. One final note, Bo Perbula took home a national award, the Maxwell National Player of the Week. That's a look at sports on this Wednesday morning. Until we meet again, make it a good one, everybody.
Lee Summit Farmers Market, thankfully, is in the morning and midday on Wednesday because it is going to already feel a little bit more summer-like. Jazz at noon we talked about yesterday, also going to be a bit more summer-like through midday. And Friday, the haunted houses open in the West Bottoms. Now, I will say, obviously, later in the evening will be a bit more pleasant, but with our high temperatures likely in the lower 90s on Friday, your evening will be pretty warm, much more tolerable, but not very Halloween-like out there. 84 at 9, 82 at 10, and still staying into the upper 70s near 80. The later you go, closer to midnight will drop, a little bit more comfortable, but generally this whole stretch is going to feel very summer-like. So outdoor plans that you want to feel like fall, not just yet. Now this weekend, we have the Current home. And it looks like a warm game at CPKC Stadium. Thankfully, again, it is a little bit later in the evening, so that 90-degree temperature will be right around kickoff. But as you trend into halftime, falling more comfortable after sunset, it's a very beautiful late summer evening. A reminder, it is still summer, but your Saturday at CPKC starts on the toasty side, but then late in the evening after sunset, much more pleasant. So coming up later this week in your planning calendar, we've got a lot to talk about. New Heights tailgate this weekend for the Chiefs game. Then we have the Chiefs game on Sunday, Mingle Monday, and the last spark at the park on Tuesday next week. That's all coming up again later this week in your planning calendar.
Good morning and welcome to another week of Wellness Wednesday. Now today, September 10th, is World Suicide Prevention Day, and the slogan, changing the narrative on suicide. So this theme, according to the World Health Organization, is calling on us all to challenge harmful myths, reduce stigma, and foster open, compassionate conversations about suicide. Also, according to the WHO, suicide is a major public health challenge, claiming the lives of more than 720,000 people every year. And to talk with us today, we have Latrice Kabuya.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, our friend of the show.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. How are you doing this morning?
I'm wonderful. I'm so thankful to you both for this topic because it's really important and we have to destigmatize it, right? We don't want to talk about suicide because immediately we go into panic mode with it. But I think if we talk, educate people, and I think others will be comfortable, feel comfortable about it, and perhaps this will make a change in someone's decision because they have someone to talk to without feeling judged or feeling bad. So thank you for this space.
Of course, and I think that's the perfect place to start. You talk about educating people. Where do you start with that? How do you properly educate the public on suicide awareness?
You talk about it. Talk about I love that you gave numbers. Facts are always important, right? And then I think that it's important because not two people are the same, right? So talk about the feelings, the emotions, and the why. Most times when someone dies by suicide, it's because they just want to let the pain go. They just don't want pain. They don't necessarily want to die, right? And I think we have to make that emphatically clear. And so with just educating people on resources, support groups, to let them know they're not alone, that they don't have to fake it. I think I shared a couple weeks ago that we fake happiness, right? And so really allowing people to be honest and say, you know what, this is how I'm feeling. Because when they talk about it, again, that's reaching out for help. If someone wants to do it, we have these stats where, when people die by suicide, what we're seeing is that those individuals, most of them, not all of them, have not given any type of warning. So when someone's talking about it, it's a great thing because all they're saying is, help me. Help me. That's all.
And let's talk about the warning signs.
Yes.
There was a story recently where a person died by suicide and they were trying to get a family member's attention. I think that he was going to hang himself and had tried and had marks on his neck, but no one noticed it, or he just wanted somebody to see him, I guess. So what are some of the things that people can maybe pay attention to?
Withdrawal. When individuals withdraw, when they isolate themselves, that's a huge marker. When they stop talking, when their sleep pattern is disrupted, when they have erratic behavior, something that is out of the norm for that individual, just hone in on it. Don't take it for granted that, they're just going through something, or, it's okay, they'll get through it. No, sit down, talk with them, and to my parents, we have to talk more to our kids and not just, hey, how are you? But go, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, have open-ended questions for them, have clarifying questions. Talk to them, see who they're around, right? That's vitally important. But just when there's a change in behavior, even when it comes to eating, can be a sign. When they stop eating, or when they have really aggressive behavior. Maybe they start drinking or using substances. So there's not just one thing, but I think the most important is being discerning about it and really paying attention to how some things change in a person's life, child or adult.
No, I think that's great. Great information there, great tips. And then also something that we don't always talk about, especially during this time of month, are the triggers for those who have maybe even tried to take their life. I mean, what piece of advice do you have for their family members and their loved ones on how to navigate those conversations moving forward and still just being caring and empathetic?
Be a safe space. Let them talk to you and feel all their feels, even if you're uncomfortable, because it can be very uncomfortable to have someone talk about they want to end their life, because really they're wanting to end the pain. So again, really being discerning when you're listening, and then letting them know that their feelings, their emotions are valid, and getting help for them. Don't just say, okay, we talk and we're done, and they feel good, I feel good. No, it's about them. Still follow up, get them the help they need, whether it's them going to a facility for a while. That is absolutely okay. I can't emphasize enough being safe. People, the shame and the guilt anyway that people feel, and being judged. You can't do it, mom, dad, friend, coworker, especially an individual where you deem you have a good life.
Yeah, I mean, we see so many successful people. I think about like Robin Williams.
Well, not even only that, but the Miss USA. And then she ended up writing that book. But basically that book was just detailing just how hurt she was and how she was, again, putting that smile on in front of everyone else. And deep down inside, she was hurting.
We fake it. So that's why we really have to hone in on these individuals. Kate Spade, right?
That was tragic.
So we're talking about people who we would deem have everything, the American dream, but yet there's so much turmoil. So I think that we can't overlook those individuals as well, and don't judge and think that, oh, they're fine, what are they complaining about, because it's something internal. So help them get the tools they need, see them, validate them, get them the help, walk this with them.
And I know there's a lot of professional tools that folks can lean on, resources. What are some of those?
You know what, so one of the things that we do an assessment to just see the severity, but even in that, it's flawed, because we're talking about people, real life, and there's no assessment that can really help like we want. It's the contact, it's connecting. And when someone is in my office and they have suicidal ideation, we talk it through, and we talk deep about, well, have you thought about it? Do you have a plan for it? What does that look like? And yes, that may be very uncomfortable, and yes, a professional probably should lead that, but that's how deep we get into it. And then from there, we get a modality where how to change their thinking, how to rewire their nervous system, and then we get other people, multidisciplinaries, that are that can help with maybe medication, with get someone to bring them into one of their facilities. So it's everyone connecting and supporting this individual. Cognitive behavior therapy is a modality that I use, again, that replaces the negative thoughts, the talk, the feelings and emotion with positive. But to be honest, that's great, and that sounds really professional, but I always go right to the past, the history. What happened? What happened that's triggering this, that is so painful to your soul that you want to end this pain? And that's where we go.
Yeah, I mean, this number here is staggering. I mean, not too far from 1 million people
Yes.
a year that do this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, if we're just going to be real honest, and you know me, I don't know how to do anything but be honest. I grew up with suicidal ideation. I didn't necessarily want to end my life, but I thought that was the answer to end my pain, right? And again, those are things we have to talk about. It's that pain.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned Janae, I think she was Miss America, or
Yeah.
if you looked at her, and maybe just because I look at people with a different eyes, I saw the pain. You could see it, but so many times we are so uncomfortable with it that we just ignore it because we're just hoping it will go away.
Right. Yeah.
And it doesn't, right? You have to get the help. You have to go back in history when you were 8 years old or when you were 10 years old, and that has still stayed with you, and now you're at this point. So communicating, talking about it, being a safe space, all those things I can't emphasize enough. Yes, modalities are wonderful, and we definitely have the things that we need to do, but I'm always going to go deep. I'm always going to feel you, because sometimes they need to be validated, seen, and heard, and so that's where we go in my sessions.
Yes.
I'm gonna go to a movie. I don't know if you all have seen it, but Beyond the Lights. It's about this pop singer, and she tries to jump off of her balcony, her hotel balcony, and she's like, "You still don't see me," and so she's in the spotlight, and so she's so loved, she thinks, but she's hurting deep down inside. And so I think that kind of goes back to just the social media influence and the pressure there of wanting to be perfect, because that was her whole thing in the movie, was that she had to be perfect. And so I can only imagine like what the younger generation, like what they're dealing with now, being in school and dealing with the idea that I need to be perfect.
And that's what we have to pour in, why we have to pour into them. Not just caregivers, not just mom and dad, but the community, the village has to pour into them and help them identify who they are, that they are loved, help build their confidence and resilience, because life is still going to hit them. Life is still coming. So how do you build that resilience without them not recovering, right? Seeing them. I kid you not, I'm so grateful for this space, because this morning my husband and I were just talking about our youngest daughter, and I said, "Hey, have you sat down and talked to her?" No, I mean, nothing's wrong, because it has to be a consistent practice, because I wanted us to compare notes, if you will, to make sure we're covering. We have to do more of that, more of I know we're still trying to figure things out as adults, but can you imagine these kiddos and everything they're faced with, and let them know that social media does not validate them. That's why we have to validate them. That's why we have to spend time. Don't let social media raise your kids. And I'm not judging you, mom, dad, caregiver, teacher, but you have to spend the time. They need that contact. We are humans. We are created to connect with one another. So as kids, we need that connection, because we need that affirmation. They need that validation. They need that love. They need to know you love them even when they make mistakes. They need to know you love them when they come with maybe a D or a F. You know, you can be like, okay, you need to do better, but love them through that, so that they're not scared to talk to you. Right? And if someone is being mean or bullying, they say, okay, I have safe space. I can go to my mom or my dad or whoever, the counselor, to get that support for them. But no one wants to feel shamed or embarrassed. So we have to do our due diligence So we have to heal so that we can provide a healing space for our kiddos.
Yeah. And it is okay to not be okay and to express that.
I think that was one of the first things we talked about when I started this.
Hey, I'm taking notes.
It is.
Mentally.
Do not fake happiness.
Yeah.
Do not get it.
Yeah.
Get that joy, right? From within. Work to get that.
Yeah.
And we just appreciate that you're not afraid to have these conversations and to mention these things and to call them out, because somebody has to get the conversation started.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, if everyone else is afraid, who's going to be the one to speak up and say so? So thank you for that, Latrice.
And Latrice, you are so
pleasure.
soothing. You are the perfect person for Wellness Wednesday. So we appreciate it. As always.
Thank you.
We are going to take another quick break, but we'll be right back, and we'll be back with Latrice next week. Okay, welcome back in. Before we touch on this fun story regarding food, which is our favorite, Taylor, I have to ask you your favorite Girl Scout cookies.
My favorite Girl Scout cookies, they don't make them anymore, but they were called All Abouts. And
what are those?
They had like a line of chocolate on the bottom, and it was like a little bit, it was like a little cookie on top and like a little layer of chocolate on the bottom, but they don't make them anymore. So now I get the peanut butter cup ones. They're in a red pack.
The peanut butter cup ones.
Anytime I see them, I have to stop and get them. They're just like a little round cookie, but it has like peanut butter and cookie in the middle, like a Reese's.
Okay.
I love those. I don't like
what is it called?
Thin Mints. It's some, I don't know. It's just in a red pack.
Ooh, Taylor, we're going to have some beef. You said you don't like Thin Mints.
No.
Okay, let's get straight into this because I do have some feelings about that. Okay, so when Girl Scout cookie sales start in January, there will be a new cookie in the lineup. On Tuesday, the organization announced the addition of a Rocky Road-inspired cookie called Explore More's. The new chocolate cookie has a creamy feeling with notes of chocolate, marshmallow, and toasted almond-flavored cream. Like the Girl Scouts others cookies, I should say, they will be sold online and in person by local troops. Nearly 700,000 scouts take part in the cookie sale each year. So explore more. I will not be taking part in this.
No.
I'm just not a big... Okay, this is where it gets a little tricky for me. I'm not a huge chocolate person.
Me either.
But I know I'm going to get some people coming at me because I love Thin Mints.
Oh, it's
I love Thin Mints.
It has to have a little something with it. So like the ones that I like are called peanut butter patties.
Okay,
like, it's a chocolate
my grandma
layer.
eats those.
Yes, those are so good. But it has like the peanut butter in the middle. But like Rocky Road is too much for me. And like Thin Mints, you know, it's no shade because like my great grandfather, rest his soul, he loved them and he used to put them in the freezer.
They're better in the freezer.
But
yeah.
I don't like the chocolate minty candy. So that's why I'm just like, those are not for me.
Okay. I'm a huge Thin Mint person, and then I love some, well, they call it something else now.
With the coconut
The Caramel
on top?
Delights, I think they call them that now.
With the
with the coconut, the chocolate. You know what I'm talking about? It's like the cookie.
I do.
Yeah, they called it that, but now they call it Caramel Delights. I think it's so.
Well, I will always know them as Samoas.
But those are my favorite. And also, I would say coming in third for me would probably be, don't they have like lemon cookies now?
Yes.
Okay, those are okay.
Yes, those are
I could
good.
eat those. And the shortbread cookies. I don't know what those are.
Trefoils, I think, is the shortbread cookie.
Okay.
But those make me thirsty. Like, I have to have something to drink with
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, I could see that.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, when the Girl Scouts, when I see them out there and I see those peanut butter, one time I busted a U-turn to go turn around and go get those
and
cookies.
they know how to get you. Because I remember on my college campus, they would be like lined
Not
up
on the
on
college
every
campus?
I'm like, why aren't you in school?
They were hustling.
But yes, I will give you my $5.
Oh my gosh.
They know how to get you because they have these sweet faces. And I used to
Yes.
be a Girl Scout, so I have like a soft spot for them. I'm like, I have to just donate, take my money.
I could see you as a little Girl Scout.
I still have my little what's it called?
The little uniform? The patch?
The vest.
The
with my patches on there.
Oh,
so
I love
something I will always hold close to my heart. Okay, so something else.
Yes. Okay, so this is big. When I saw this, I was like, we have to talk about this today. So a new bachelorette has been named, and this is probably a face that is familiar to some reality TV watchers. People magazine is reporting that Taylor Frankie Paul, who is one of the stars of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, shared this morning on Call Her Daddy podcast with Alex Cooper that she is going to be the next bachelorette. So I don't know if you're familiar with the show or if you've watched it before, but Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is on Hulu, and it follows Paul and several other women who are a part of the Mom Talk community. So apparently there was this big old scandal about swinging related to them, and the show is supposed to be surrounded their way of like bouncing back from this big old scandal. So Paul does say that while she films Secret Life of Mormon Wives, she will also be filming The Bachelorette. Now also, she is divorced. She, I think, also just broke up with her boyfriend Dakota, who was on the show, and she also has 3 children.
Okay, I don't like the double dipping as far as like you get to film this show and then you also get to film this one, because for the viewers who do not know, The Bachelorette comes from The Bachelor.
Right,
It's a
they usually pick
contestant
the
from
women,
The Bachelor.
right?
And I watched The Bachelor, I watched The Bachelorette, and also Melissa Meter does, a meteorologist
Yes,
here.
what does she have to say?
So
All
I
the way
sent
from
her
overseas.
this. Yeah, she is in Greece right now. So I sent her a screenshot. I'm keeping her updated on the news, the hot entertainment gossip, and she said in all caps, "This is not right." And then she said she watches the show, but it's not going to work out in any fashion. So we'll have to have Melissa here on the live desk to give her feedback when she comes back.
I would love that. And I would have to agree with Melissa to the point where, at least watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I don't know if Taylor is serious. You know, like if she's really looking for love just based on how her situation was playing out on that show. And then, you know, she's also Mormon, so how does that work? I know that they're super strict about, you know, who they marry and things like that. So it's a lot of things up in the air. To me, this seems like a very ratings-based situation where they're trying to get more people to watch. I sent it to a group chat with 2 friends of mine, and one of them said herself, she said, "I've never watched The Bachelorette, but I will watch it now." So,
and I have watched The Bachelorette, and I will not be watching.
See, so we have both ends.
I just don't. Now that I'm starting to think about it, and I'm hearing what you're saying, I don't think it's fair. I do not think it's fair.
I was going to say too, I remember as you were bringing up that point that they usually pull the bachelorette from the batch of ladies from the bachelor.
Yeah.
So
what happens to those girls?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Why are we going this route?
I'll
This
leave
is
my thoughts to
unserious
myself.
me.
We'll continue this on our other podcasts here.
Yes. So this is going to be our next bachelorette. I think it's going into season 22. So
yeah,
it's been
on for some time.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we're going to leave our bachelorette news for the break. We'll be right back.